Are you ready for short track racing in the heartland?
Ready? Green.
It's the HighVDeals.com 250. Let's go from Iowa.
Picture perfect start up front for Team Penske. Power with the move to the point, but further back, look at that red and white car. Marcus Ericsson to the high side. He's going forward early.
4 wide down the front straight. They sort themselves out now through 3 and 4. Potso Award way high on Connor Daly. Not quite able to get that completed as they're 2-3 wide behind. What a start from Marcus Ericsson, though, really riding the high line.
David Malukas, the rookie who qualified 6th, is hanging in there pretty nicely.
See Jack Harvey there, that candy apple red, the high V car. Number 45 putting a move on Rinus VK. That's the battle for 7th. The two will stay side by side going into 1, and you can see just how violently the cars shake around as they skip over all of the bumps seemingly everywhere on this racetrack.
That's almost 2 full laps side by side, guys. This is fun action to watch, but you can't do this for too long without wearing out your tires. Something's gonna have to give here, and you gotta start protecting those Firestones as early as lap 4.
James, so many of the drivers without experience here at Iowa came to you as a 2-time winner and asked for some tips, knowing they didn't have to compete with you. What's the one thing that was most important that you shared with some of the drivers without experience? That
you got to explore that second lane. The car's always going to feel more comfortable down on the bottom. The shorter distance is always going to be faster, Townsend, but you have to get comfortable running up top because that's how you're going to get passes made. Marcus Ericsson was comfortable up top on that first lap, and now he's making it another pass on countryman Felix Rosenquist there. He is moving up fast into the top 10.
He started 12th. Now let's go back to the start. The 2 Penske cars starting on the front row. The Bitnile on board with Connor Daly. Look up ahead at Newgarden on the outside. Power on the inside. Did they rub wheels?
They sure did. They came close, and I think that was Newgarden just sending a signal to his teammates saying, hey, bud, you're going to deal with me all day long. I'm a 3-time winner. Here is Newgarden as Ericsson now has a pick. He's got Jack Harvey running low. That serves as a pick on Rosenquist, allows Ericsson to go to the high side.
As the caution is out, guys, Owen Johnson has trouble.
Did Jimmy Johnson just spin and not hit a wall again?
Again.
Nice job, keep going, nice.
Incredible.
I mean, how many times? This guy is the most impressive, dare I say it, spinner. I mean, I've never seen a racing driver in IndyCar spin as many times as he has in his short career and not hit anything. I'm guessing that's what happened.
I mean, I've seen guys spin off of 4 a bunch. He actually went a little bit earlier than you normally see here, but we're talking, he kept it off the wall.
Toronto,
yeah.
You know, road courses, street circuits, short ovals, concrete everywhere. This is on board with Jimmy Johnson.
We're back.
So he's in the dirty air of Grosjean in front. Just gets on the apron there, guys. You saw the left front just caught the apron.
Hang on.
He did a great job of kind of slowing the spin down and then getting on the brakes.
Back to green at Iowa Speedway, and Joseph Newgarden into turn 1 on this lap on the restart has gotten by Will Power, and he's starting to take off.
This is not what you want to do, is let Joseph Newgarden, a 3-time winner and the most successful driver in this field at Iowa, get by, and further back 3 wide as David Malukas looks inside Rinus VK and Marcus Ericsson. But up front, Newgarden flat jumped Will Power, and he's checking out.
He sure did, and the championship leader was not being safe. He was taking everything he could there. As we look at the replay of Joseph Newgarden on the restart, just timed it beautifully. Restart gears were perfect, had the inside line, and Will just couldn't hold the outside on Joseph there. And now we'll see what kind of gap he pulls. We saw Will pull a 2.5 seconds in about 10 laps. Let's see what kind of gap we get out of the 2 car with the 12 in pursuit. Although Potso Award is right behind him, and now
Marcus Ericsson almost lost it up behind McLaughlin.
But he's +6 from the start. The championship leader, Marcus Ericsson, wants another going around the outside of Scott McLaughlin. The Husky Chocolate car has got another position.
I mean, Highline Ericsson here, man. I don't think he's been to the bottom of the racetrack yet. Even in relatively clean air, he's hanging it up there because it's even cleaner.
As you see Romain Grosjean in that yellow and red DHL car starting to struggle a bit, and Jimmy Johnson, who did not go a lap down with that spin, is going forward on new tires.
He did come into the pits and get those fresh boots, so yeah, he's got that advantage over the 28 as Cal Milot now looks down to the inside of Romain Grosjean, another one of the drivers that came into the pits under that caution on that fresh rubber, and now you're going to see these guys who did not stop, 33 laps on your tires, that's when you really start to lose performance.
I really like the call of all those cars that came in, including Colton Herta, who's already up to 7th. Herta, the best of the cars that stopped early. He is railing right now.
And also Castro Neves came in and stopped. He started in the back. He's into the top 10 already.
Now remember, guys, it all looks great and rosy right now, but at some point you got to pay the piper, and there's going to have to be a very long stint on a set of tires if you don't get a yellow timed well as Malukas is under attack.
Yeah, but think about this. If you're Colton Herta, whoa, here goes Castro Neves, slides up into the gray, gets the jet wash.
Malukas just cut down, took all the air off from riding on board with the AutoNation on board there, and you saw how when you have a car cut down in front of you like that, it takes all the air, all the downforce off the front of your wing, off the front of that car, creates a ton of understeer, and the car just slides right up the track as we watch the Gamebridge Honda.
Here's what I was going to say. Colton Herta up to 6th. This guy started 17th. So even if he stops again at lap 60 with the leaders, it's a net. It's a gain all across the board. Colton Herta is now up to 3rd, just 1.7 seconds back of Joseph Newgarden, who's on the older tires. James, this guy could get to the lead legit and be back on the same strategy as Connor Daly comes to pit lane.
Dylan.
And he was backsliding, and he was very animated and agitated on the radio, just reporting the car had an inconsistent balance, and now they've got a little bit of a hiccup waiting on fuel. Connor's back on the racetrack.
Started in 3rd, had slipped just outside the top 10. So he comes in on lap 52.
Definitely inside the window for that 3-stopper. It's not. It's on the early side, but not unheard of. You saw them making a wing change, adjusting the angle of the front wing, which adjusts the amount of air that hits the front versus the back of the car and affects the balance, essentially adding or taking away grip from the front of the car.
Here comes Herta on willpower on fresher tires.
Because the other thing that slowed up Joseph Newgarden and Will Powers, they've now caught the back of the lead lap.
A lot of cars on pit road. Pato Award behind him as well. Award's car was free. The 28 of Grosjean was just not good. And you see the leader of the race now, the 2 of Joseph Newgarden coming in top of your screen there. By the way, he was told, hey, to reset your cool suit, you've got to hit the button marked PC. I hope it hasn't failed on Joseph. It's a hot day out there. He's gone.
We talked about this the other day. If your cool suit fails, like a radiator putting heat into a room, it can overcook your core temperature. So potentially there's a critical issue there for Newgarden. Dylan.
Getting a look at Scott McLaughlin there on the bottom. Alex Palou just pitted, and Will Power is pitting behind him right now. Will was talking about just having some issues with the rear of the race car. You'll see them reach across and pull a tear off at 4 sticker Firestone tires, waiting for a wing change. Didn't see one for Power.
No wing change, but the Verizon crew may have done a tire pressure adjustment for him as we see Colton Herta now back in. As you said, Townsend, pit with the leaders. He's now essentially running honestly in the top 5, even though he's had an extra stop. Scott Dixon now also in the pit lane, Dave.
And he's been very happy about his race car most of the weekend. Didn't get all of it in qualifying that he could have. Mike Hull, the strategist, told me that was our fault. We could have given Scott a better car, but they were very confident about what they had in terms of raceability. And Dixon, as usual, showing that here at Iowa.
So top at least 7, I think top 9, pitted on lap 19, and the leader of the race is Jimmy Johnson.
Callum Ilott, the next car in line for Joseph to go after. Cutting through traffic here, it's so important. He's pulled out a 6-second gap over Pato Award. Pato obviously just not quite as comfortable in the dirty air of the traffic, not able to clear these cars as quickly, and it's amazing how fast that size of a gap can open up here.
Also not comfortable is Colton Herta. Listen to his radio.
What do you got, bud? Can you do anything with the tools?
No, don't dig. We dig so fast.
Remember how good he was on the new tires, having pitted on lap 19. Since he got back out here, he said it is so bad. He told me this morning, as Dylan's, you see the 20 car on and off of pit road. Colton Herta told me this morning, he said, you know, we've never been the guys here at Andretti Autosport. We've been pretty good, but we've never been the guys. So kind of showing again today as the organization is struggling just a bit.
And meanwhile, while we watch Colton Herta, Jimmy Johnson, like he did at Texas Motor Speedway late in the race, he gave it back, but he passed Scott Dixon on track as we look at the Carvana on board.
He just passed Scott McLaughlin for fifth position. Jimmy Johnson is crushing it right now. Yes, he's on slightly fresher tires, but he'll have the option to pit at lap 125-ish along with the leaders and be on the same strategy. He goes to the high side of Graham Rahal. Johnson going forward. Next up the road is Will Power, about 3 seconds, but he should catch him pretty quickly.
That's the high side. Graham's running around in lane 2. I think Jimmy was flirting with lane 3 there.
He was a little cautiously optimistic about this first race, said he'd maybe be better tomorrow because he'll have a race under his belt. If he's going to be better tomorrow, I can't wait to watch him. He's been pretty impressive here in race 1.
He's going to have to be careful with moves like that. Jimmy Johnson up in the gray. James, your hands are on your head right now. Why is it?
I'm so nervous. This is making me so uncomfortable, guys. When you have a car running in lane 2 like that, you don't try to go to lane 3. Eventually the marbles get up there. He's the only car driving up there. Cut back down, get down to the bottom of the racetrack, find that clean air. He was making lane 3 happen. Oh my God, I'm sweating. I'm sweating in the air conditioning. Watch this.
Kev, the dark groove is where the rubber is. The light gray is where the dust and the marbles accumulate. And wow, that was brave, good stuff. But he's feeling good, high, wide, and handsome.
Under caution, a little short of midway through the HighVDeals.com 250 at Iowa Speedway. You saw it nonstop. The caution for Felix Rosenqvist, Arrow McLaren SP, who is in some ways trying to convince his bosses that he should stay in that ride for next season. Let's see what happened.
Just loses the rear on the bump. It jumps out early in turn 1, and you hear the crunch as the gearbox and left rear suspension hits the safer barrier over in turn 2. And that, I'm sure, came as a big surprise to Rosenqvist. Just released all the grip in the car when he rode over the bump like that. So the battle on the track's been fierce, but the battle on pit lane about to get fierce.
Wow. Joseph Newgarden comes in, and here we go. Dave, what do you got?
Second, first, and third as you see them in the order there. And Townsend, I was thinking the same thing. Now it's time for the pit crews to shine. Remember, Newgarden's car was just a bit free. He's going to get a 0.25% out on the front wing. The 5 on the top, Pato O'Ward, he said, my car is so loose. He'll get an adjustment for that. On the bottom, Marcus Ericsson doing what he should do today. Running third, and consistency has been the hallmark all season long for him. The championship leader and everybody else, Firestone Tires and Speedway Fuel.
Joseph Newgarden wins the race off pit road. Back for a restart. It is tight at pit X's at Iowa Speedway.
But more action for the 26 crew than they want to see. Looks like he can't get it into neutral.
Can we get neutral?
The mic, I can't do it. There's no clutch. There's no clutch. I can't get neutral.
Oh boy, Colton Herta was the star of the show early, one of the earlier stoppers for Fresh Firestones, drove through the field up to the fronts, and now you see a steering wheel change.
But if they're rocking the car, that means the clutch is working potentially. It shouldn't rock that much in gear. It still is in gear, I guess.
Yeah, it'll rock that much in gear. And they switched the steering wheel for that problem because these IndyCars have a hand clutch. The clutch is on the steering wheel. It's electronic.
All right, here we go. Back to green. Top pitted at lap 116. One more stop should get it done for all the leaders. Joseph Newgarden, Pato O'Ward. Look at Marcus Ericsson. He's the championship leader in that red and white car, going down to the low side on Pato O'Ward. He's going to grab seconds.
Oh, Jimmy Johnson getting tight there with, it looked like Ed Carpenter, but Johnson now all over the back of Scott McLaughlin. Meanwhile, that's Scott Dixon in the orange and blue PNC car. Will Power defending going forward, over Pato O'Ward.
And man, no one told Marcus Ericsson about this whole points racing concept. He is just going for broke right now, and it is going well. Will Power around Pato O'Ward through 3 and 4.
Oh, Power had to check up maybe. O'Ward's going to have something to say about it as they go into turn 1.
It's amazing how much more speed you can send into turn 1 on that high line. Normally you claw back a little bit of ground with a shorter radius down on the bottom of the racetrack, but not enough right now. Will Power staying in front. Scott McLaughlin now has his eyes on the number 5.
We're just past halfway now. Joseph Newgarden is leading in the first half of the doubleheader of the Hy-Vee IndyCar weekend, but the restart is under review. Don't watch the leaders. It's a little further back. Anything out of sort there?
Yeah, the rule is you cannot, as we see the caution flying, the caution is flying for debris. But just going back to that restart, you're not supposed to move out of line until the green flag flies. Once the green flag flies, all bets are off. Racing is good to go. But if some cars further back, 5, 6, 7 in line, weren't lined up with the car in front, that could potentially lead to a penalty.
It's like a GoPro mount.
Yeah, it does
What
look like
in the
that.
world is that doing on the track?
Ericsson is the championship
Roll,
leader.
green, green,
Newgarden
green.
is tied for fourth. Power is second. Pato O'Ward is still in the mix. Here we go again from Iowa, and Will Power and Marcus Ericsson are side by side for second. Ericsson is going to hang on to the position.
Boy, that high line is working well as Ericsson takes the high line on Joseph Newgarden for the lead in turn 4.
He had the chance to defend down low against Will Power on that restart, but he says, no, my car is running well up top. And look, he doesn't try to go down low on Joseph Newgarden. He wants to run up top.
Look at Joseph Newgarden moving his line up the track with a big wiggle off the back of his car. Here comes Ericsson to the low line.
He won the biggest oval race in the world earlier this year. The Indy 500 winner, Marcus Ericsson, might have touched front wheel to rear left with Joseph Newgarden. They both hang on.
That was almost disaster for both drivers. That could have been a huge crash for the lead.
It seems like both guys prefer the high line right now. Joseph Newgarden almost moving up to try to take the air away from Marcus Ericsson. We see there, did they touch? I see contact.
Oh.
It wasn't much, but it was there.
Talk about the squeeze job. Newgarden leaving no room for Ericsson down low. And here comes Will Power.
That red and black Verizon car on the red and white Husky chocolate car has a big run. Power to the inside, and now it's Penske 1-2 at Iowa.
Power says, you want to run that high line in Joseph's dirty air? No problem. I'll take that low line all day long, that clean air on the front wing, and I'll make that pass on Joseph. Now Joseph goes down to the bottom because he knows that's where Will likes to run.
Lap 138, Kevin, about 30 laps until you'll see everybody making their final stop. Maybe a bit more than that, probably 40 laps. 178, 180 will get you home.
And Jimmy Johnson fighting for the top 5. He's just lost a spot, though, to Rinus VeeKay, who got him for 6th.
He's not going to give it up easy, though. Jimmy with a run down the back straightaway, looks high on VeeKay, going to send it into 3, slide up the track a little bit, then regroup and try again. Oh, James, about 30, 35 laps until the final pit stop. And oh, Jimmy Johnson almost lost it. Huge moment at the back of the race car going into 1.
That was on the way in. He couldn't decide which lane he wanted to go to. He was trying to wait for Rinus VeeKay to make that first move.
Look at that, we pull that.
Big wiggle, but man, he kept his foot in it. It hasn't scared him. Here's the onboard. Whoa. He may have gotten on the brakes there.
But here he comes right back, trying to go around the outside.
It's a battle between a 20-year-old Jimmy Johnson and a 47-year-old Jimmy Johnson. Half part maniac, half part father of 2, responsible, thinking, all right, I got to keep it all together here and finish this race.
And the guy in front of him actually is 21 years old, Rinus VeeKay in that orange Bitnile car.
And Rinus usually known as the guy that likes trying to roll that outside lane, make some spectacular passes happen. But it's been Jimmy Johnson today that's been putting those moves down. So he goes way high in 3 and 4. And the battle right now for third place is still going hard. Pato O'Ward, great run off at turn 2.
He's got the run on the inside.
Outside, still there. Clear, clear.
O'Ward to 3rd.
Nice job. Next start, Kirkwood.
Scott McLaughlin now eyeing the back of Marcus Ericsson. He's got the Freightliner on board right now, trying to make that lane work. He's got Marcus's traffic in front of him, doesn't know which lane to use. We know he likes the top lane. He's got to go to the bottom here. A bit of momentum from Scott McLaughlin. He's got to keep his foot in it here.
Oh, listen to him hunt on the throttle. He finally digs in and buries the pedal. It's going to allow him to get a run. And now Ericsson is trapped behind Pagenaud. Ericsson to the high side. He's in the gray. He's going to hit the wall. No!
But he's going to lose lots of positions, several spots, slipping backwards. I think he's going to fall back to 8th. By the way, that temperature, hottest since 2012 at Fontana, 99 degrees and just as hot on track.
Pit stops complete. Will Power pitted from 2nd. Car pretty good. Didn't make any changes for Will. He comes out 2nd behind his teammate, Dave.
That was leader Joseph Newgarden, who had a stellar pit stop on pit lane. He was able to get a wing change put back that they put in the last time. Remember, he didn't like the handling on that race car, so wing back the way Newgarden likes it. That could be trouble for the field. Newgarden's led 125 laps so far today, trying to go to the end now. Most of these guys will go to the end. Should be good on fuel, boys.
This is earlier, though, than they wanted to make their last stop, but under caution because of caution number 4 and Ed Carpenter crashing. Ed was already a couple of laps down and struggling through the day.
Go low, go low.
You saw it from the high V on board of Jack Harvey there, and there he is backing into the wall. So too much damage for today, but easily fixable for tomorrow, because remember, anyone that has a big crash, that impacts your race for tomorrow. And Alexander Rossi had to whoa up there. Remember, that's his teammate next year, Pato O'Ward, that he avoid crashing. Rossi is headed to Arrow McLaren SP next season.
Doesn't get much closer than this on such a tight pit lane here. Rossi locks up. Smart heads-up driving.
We're ready to go back to racing once again, but there's a problem with Scott McLaughlin, who was running fourth, but we're still going green. Joseph Newgarden leading the back, battles for second. Pato O'Ward trying to find some room on Will Power, but around the outside there's Alex Palou in that green and black car finding third.
That's the penalty of shooting down low there when the others are running high. You had to check up. Did O'Ward as Palou goes sailing on by. It's Team Penske 1-2. And Palou, last year's champion, getting strong late in this race.
But that wasn't without its issues. A big wiggle from Palou as we see the issue with the 3 is a missing wheel nut on the right rear.
That happened to Will Power here a couple, 3 years ago. I can remember a wheel starting to fall off.
And he'll go 2 laps down almost certainly here, maybe more, as the right rear tire changer has to go to the spare wheel nut. Meanwhile, Rinus VeeKay and Jimmy Johnson back at it.
Jimmy Johnson has been fighting for the top 5 throughout most of this day, battling for 5th right now. Up ahead, the Carvana onboard looks to Rinus VeeKay.
I mean, obviously, there's going to be... I'm just thinking about tires. I'm thinking about tomorrow, the number of tires these drivers get. Scott McLaughlin losing another set there. If we have a caution-filled race tomorrow, some of these teams are going to start running out of tires, Townsend.
Well, they should be able to make it to the end on fuel, but with the number of laps they have to run on the tires at the end of this thing, it is going to be such a handful for all of these front runners. We're early on in the stint. This is like liquid courage. You get fresh Firestones. You are brave, ready to battle, making moves all over the place. Another 20 laps. You're kind of just hanging on, trying to manage to the end.
Dylan.
And Alex Palou runs third. Remember, after their test a few weeks ago, he was not very confident coming in here. Just didn't feel like they had a great balance on the race car. And he told us earlier this week he struggles on ovals because he just doesn't know what he wants the car to feel like and what he needs it to do. But they've tweaked on it all weekend thanks to Alex's feedback. And now he's racing inside the top 3.
And he's looking for second to the inside, side by side with Will Power. And right ahead of them is the leader, Joseph Newgarden, in that white and black Hitachi car. They're still stuck together. Power prevails for the moment, and then looks to the outside for the lead.
All 3 of them spread out, trying to find some semblance of clean air. Joseph Newgarden making a defensive move into 3 for the first time, making Will go to the high line. He holds him off for now, but Palou's really making the low line work at this stage of the tire life better than most guys we've seen.
A lot of very subtle fades coming out of the number 2 car at Joseph Newgarden. He knows how to get around Iowa. He knows how to defend around Iowa, even if it's a teammate behind. I'm going to guess that Will Power is going to jump on the radio and ask for a little more help, a little more respect from his teammate in terms of moving around and taking the air off the Verizon car.
Jimmy is looking to the outside.
Some questionable definitions are clear right now, guys, from the spotters of these 2. But Jimmy not being pushed around. He's going to have some big momentum coming off of 2 here if he can stay side by side with him. Oh, Rinus is really not giving him any room.
Super impressive by both to maintain their line and not make contact. VeeKay not giving up, and he hangs on to 5th for the moment.
Jimmy's making me nervous. He's awfully aggressive, right up on the edge where the grip goes from good to nothing.
But at this stage of the tire life, Rinus has a lot of grip in those Firestones. He can afford to do that. Jimmy's taking better care of his tires by being up in that second lane. So fast forward, 10, 15 laps, Townsend, we could see these guys swapping positions.
Reminds me so much of Texas earlier this year when Jimmy Johnson learned in the first couple of stints and then got really aggressive and used all that knowledge to good use as he has a big moment.
Here we go. Johnson to the outside. Can he clear him this time? VeeKay still battling in that orange car on the bottom.
VeeKay's got a car low. That's Simon Pagenaud coming out of the pits. That allows Jimmy to get it done. So VeeKay getting boxed in.
Pato O'Ward now all over Will Power for second place. Will's going to roll the top. There's a car in front of Pato taking a little bit of air away, but he's got still a good run off of 2. He's going to go again into 3.
That's Kyle Kirkwood in front of them, the A.J. Foyt Racing Sexton Properties Number 14, Award, still on the bottom. Looks like he might have the position. Power's not ready to give it up. Side by side for second.
Depends on what Kirkwood does. Kirkwood goes low. That gives the advantage to Will Power, so that lap car completely dictates in a side-by-side battle who might win.
And now Power says, I want the bottom two. Takes even more air off the nose of Pato Award's car. And you see that gap open up. Goes from right on his gearbox to about a 3-car length difference.
Don't screw yourself up trying to get around him. You'll get him eventually.
Great coaching.
There it goes.
Stay patient.
Wow.
And 1 corner later, patience delivers to the high side.
Be patient is code for let's go now.
Yeah. Joseph Newgarden, leader, clears a huge amount of lap traffic. But look, 2 cars in front of him, guys. It's Marcus Ericsson. Marcus is all the way down in 10th now after fighting for the lead not that long ago. It's really sort of come unhinged for the 8.
Well, you may be seeing the difference of who is best on the older Firestones and who cannot make them last. Joseph Newgarden has been able to do that, and we wondered, could you make it to the end? We're kind of past the point of no return. The only way anyone's stopping is if there's a caution soon, at least as far as the leaders are concerned.
And this is an opportunity for Pato Award. If he wants to win this race, he needs to pounce right now as Newgarden is trapped in traffic and try to make some magic happen. You can see Award in the orange and black car. He's struggling also to figure out how to get through the lappers.
And look how much ground Will Power has lost as well. It is a 2-car race at the moment, if it stays green, between Joseph Newgarden and Pato Award.
Oh, Pato was able to get by. Newgarden still trapped there behind Ericsson's going to have to check up again here at the exit of 2.
It's all about Ericsson's lane choice here.
Pato Award almost lost it coming off of 2. His right rear was up in the gray. That was close.
And even Newgarden ahead still has several more cars to navigate before he has clean track, and it won't even last very long. Here's
That's what
Award's
I'm talking about with Award off 2.
Oh, that's end of a stint, guys. That right rear is just getting very tired. Coming to 10 to go. You just got to hang on to it.
Palou almost lost it. Huge slide back there. He'll have to give up a position to Rinus VeeKay. Palou almost in the fence.
Great catch.
Focus here, focus.
You said it, Townsend. He was starting to drive the thing like a dirt car. That right rear is gone. Look at him just hacking away at the steering wheel, hanging on. 5 laps to go for the 10. Oh, another one.
Still fighting it. Look at that. I mean, completely crossed up. And it's going to be the longest 4 laps of Alex Palou's life just to bring this car home in one piece.
He's got Scott Dixon right behind him, his teammate, but that's the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah, the leader is right there as well. Joseph Newgarden is not too far behind Dixon. Just 6 on the lead lap, 3 laps to go. Dixon trying to get another spot.
Dixon has a really good run here. He might cross over and go low. No, he stays high.
Palou's just driving wounded at this point. He kind of needs to bring it home. Dixon's going to go by. The leader's next. If anything, that's going to save Palou from having to do 1 extra lap. He probably wants Joseph to go by at this point.
If Newgarden laps Palou, Palou's going to be like, wait a second, I was just behind that guy on the last restart.
Rinus VeeKay now thinking maybe he wants to get himself up on the podium. As we see Joseph Newgarden putting 6th place a lap down.
That is soul-crushing.
And Joseph Newgarden coming to the white flag. Ryan Hunter-Reay, a 3-time winner. Same as Joseph Newgarden. He's got a chance to top him here today.
What a terrific drive. Got the jump on his teammate when it counted, and then just managed this thing.
Through 3 and 4, Joseph Newgarden can climb within whispering distance of the championship. Win number 4 in the season. Win number 4 in Iowa. Joseph Newgarden wins the first half of the Hy-Vee IndyCar weekend doubleheader.
Somebody deed this guy some farmland. This guy's the king of corn country.
208 of 250 laps led by this man right here. I'd say that was a pretty sweet day in Iowa.
Yeah, I'm glad I wore this cool shirt. It was pretty nice and easy in there, actually, to be honest with you. Felt cool today. And this car was good. I was surprised at how hard these guys were pushing on these restarts. You know, this was a long game day, and I think Award definitely looked like he was the toughest competitor today to beat. But I'm really proud of our team. Obviously, Hitachi and Team Chevy showing up here with a really good piece. And, you know, I was disappointed after qualifying. I just hate losing. And, you know, I felt like we had enough to get the job done, and we didn't, and motivated me. I knew we had a car here today to win this race, and in front of this great crowd. Unbelievable job by Hy-Vee. You know, they're throwing concerts all weekend. They're doing everything they can amenity-wise for people here, so this has been a great event, and it's one of my favorite tracks, so to be able to win here again, it's always very special.
Watch the Hy-Vee Salute to Farmers 300, Sunday, July 24th at 3 p.m. on NBC.